Welcome to Roofing Road Trips, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey across the world of roofing. From fascinating interviews with roofing experts to on-the-road adventures, we'll uncover the stories, innovations, and challenges that shape the rooftops over our heads. So fasten your seatbelts and join us as we embark on this exciting roofing road trip. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Roofing Road Trips. My name is Megan Ellsworth here at rooferscoffeeshop.com, and I'm so ecstatic today because I'm here with the leading ladies of the ECA, and we're talking about a whole new chapter for the ECA, the Exterior Contractor Alliance, and their advisory board. And I'm here with Lipniskis, Jewels DeCorsey, and Keely Roberts. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Yay.
Good. How are you?
Let's dive in. I'm so good. Let's dive in and start with introductions. So, Keely, can you introduce yourself and your role at the ECA?
Absolutely. So, Keely Roberts, as you mentioned, Megan, thanks so much for that warm introduction. I am the director of our Exterior Contractor Alliance, and I've been with ECA going on 3.5 years now.
Amazing. Yay. Thanks for being here. Lee, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Lee Lipniskis, and I own Lavello Construction based out of Denver, Colorado.
Amazing. Thank you. And last but not least, Jewels, can you please introduce yourself and your company?
Yes, I am Jewels DeCorsey, and I am the general manager at All Craft Exteriors. And we have been part of ECA for, I've been part of ECA for about 4 years.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, I'm so excited to learn more about your stories and your part of being, your stories and part of being ECA. So thanks for being here. Keely, could you kind of kick it off and walk us through the origin of the ECA advisory board and why it was created in 2020?
Absolutely. So I'm going to actually take it back pre-AB. So Exterior Contractor Alliance was our 5th division within our parent company, which is FEI Group. The company was actually started, we're going on our, I believe, 28th year now. Awesome. As an organizational entity. We had this collective idea, obviously almost 3 decades ago, in the flooring division that was really about bringing the best of the best together instead of competing against these phenomenal other contractors and peers, working together to solve the world's problems. You can be the best and most refined contractor on the planet and still not have all the answers. And so taking those masterminds, putting them in the same space at the same time and just watching the magic happen. And then also connecting with like-minded folks that are in the industry above and beyond the contractor side. So for us in ECA, we obviously have Roofers Coffee Shop as one of our partners, which we're so thrilled about and for. And so it's the same premise. So ECA started in 2019. Okay. Again, this is really about focusing on members or contractor members who want to get better, obviously driving their profitability and doing so, in a competitive but non-competitive space. So, checking the egos at the door, coming in, talking best practices. You make a ton of relationships and networking opportunities and just have a lot of fun together as this group. So the advisory board also began soon after our birth in 2019. The role of our advisory board is voluntary in nature, but just as is our membership, it is an invite-only situation. So we look for folks just like we look for our members, those who are engaged, those who want to give back to each other, those who want to give back to their communities, the contractors, again, that are contributing to each other, but then also above and beyond, those folks that are just, again, working well among the industry standards. And our advisory board takes it a step further. So these are the folks that are the most engaged, that they're very well respected amongst their peers in ECA and across the industry. And these individuals come to the table 4 times a year. Again, they get nothing else from it other than to help. And they help steer my team and what we work on. We're a lean little machine. We do a lot of good stuff, but we have to know where to focus the efforts, what makes the biggest difference. And so having voices that are diverse across our organization is really, really important. And as you would guess, there's a lot of change, a lot of movement that's happened in our space over the last 6 years. And we had 2 board seats open up. So that's why we're here today.
Amazing. Okay. And Lee and Jules, you have filled those seats. Jules, I'll start with you. Can you share your experience in the roofing industry and kind of how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I came into the roofing industry about 4 years ago from the construction industry, or the concrete industry rather.
Got it.
And I think when I had first come into the roofing industry, what I realized, it really wasn't about chasing like recognition or anything like that. It was about building operational excellence, which is something that I am really strong in. And I think over time, my experience in the roofing industry, what I realized very quickly was in order to continue to get better and gain experience, I needed to surround myself and my team with people who were better at it than we were, right? And so that's what connected us with ECA. We joined ECA at the end of 2019, so we were in the first year, but we were a later ad. And ECA became very quickly impactful to us. And I think just in general, ECA is a group that forces accountability. And I think as far as like my path to the board, it was years of showing up and contributing and being consistent. It wasn't one moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lee, could you kind of share your experience in the roofing industry and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So I came into the roofing industry from the insurance side, like 19 years ago, which I really hate saying, but 19 years ago. I have a degree and prior to the 19 years, I have a degree in insurance and risk management, and spent about 5 years as a property insurance adjuster, working residential claims, and then after that, large loss. And that gave me a really clear view of, how roofs fail and how claims are handled, and honestly, where the communication often breaks down between contractors and homeowners and carriers. And eventually I just realized that I wanted to be part of the solution side of the problem, and I wanted to help people even more. So that's when I transitioned into the construction side of things. And then after a few years founded Livello, my company now, where we focus on residential exterior restoration. And I feel like my background, I tell people like I'm fluent in 3 different languages. I speak insurance, I speak contractor, and I speak homeowner. And I think because of that, I meld those 3 together, and I'm able to help our homeowners a little bit more clearly and be able to translate things. I came into the ECA, or I guess I met Keely almost at an IRE, like right when I started the company, or I guess right when I launched, and have known about ECA for a while, but really wasn't at that level yet. And then when they created the Trailblazer program, I was so excited about it, and joined ECA in, I guess it was 2024 now. So I'm maybe year and a half, maybe a year and a half in. And it's been amazing, but we'll talk about Trailblazers later.
Yay. That's so exciting. So Lee, what did it mean to you personally to be inducted as one of 2 first women board members during IRE?
Oh my gosh, it was so wild. I just got goosebumps even thinking about it, because it's huge. It's a massive, I don't want to call it like a personal win, but it's a massive personal win for me. And being, quote unquote inducted at IRE felt big, and the energy in that moment, honestly made it unforgettable. I was surrounded by people who've supported me and pushed me and have had my back for years, like really since I started the company. And I just could feel it. And I remember I was telling Jules, I was so nervous, my armpits were sweating, And I just remember when Keely announced us, and I am kind of getting emotional just thinking about it. Like, I turned back at Jules and immediately like broke into the biggest smile, because I'm just like, I'm looking at Jules and I'm thinking, yes, girl, like, this is it. We did it. I'm so freaking proud of you. Let's go. And it was like one of those full circle moments where like pride and gratitude and excitement like all collided. And obviously I still get elated about it. Because, you know, IREs are our biggest event of the year, and to just be so welcomed in that room, and people were really excited for Jules and I. So I don't know, it was a really great experience.
Yeah. Oh, Jules, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I would absolutely echo what Lee said, to stand in that room. I think for me it was really meaningful, right? So not because of the headline of female on the advisory, right? But I think it's because of where the industry is going. I think roofing in general is evolving. Ownership structures, groups are evolving. Leadership is evolving. And so I think that representation of not just females, but just experience at the advisory level has to mirror that reality. And I think that ECA, it definitely shows the maturity of ECA to bring on different voices. You know, I think there are many organizations within the roofing industry that I think at times carry the same board members for a really long time. And I think it's hard to evolve and grow with the industry to do that, right? And so I think Lee's perspective is so unique, which is why she absolutely should be on that advisory board. And as a trailblazer, like it's the most amazing group ever, right? It's we all want the industry to be better, and so why wouldn't trailblazers be there? And then I think, you know, my unique, I'm not an owner, but I, you know, have worked all the roles pretty much, right? And done all the things. And so I think it just really is kudos to ECA to show the maturity of where they're going in this industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And congratulations to you both. That is just, it makes me emotional too. It's so cool, especially knowing Lee, as long as I've known you, Lee, to see that huge accomplishment is just so inspirational. And congratulations to you both. And congratulations, Keely, for making that change, being, you know, putting your money where your mouth is in a sense, and it's just amazing. So, Lee, you mentioned you're an inaugural trailblazer on the board. How do you see that role kind of shaping future leadership within ECA?
I'm really excited to bring that somewhat fresh perspective, even though you know, I've been in the industry for a long time. My company is newer. And so I think I bring in the perspective of building a company in a post-COVID environment. And it comes with different realities, like initial smaller company labor challenges and supply chain shifts, pricing volatility for a small company. And there's a higher expectation from our clients for transparency and communication, which I think is huge. It's just a big shift. So what I think is powerful about that is how that perspective kind of, I think it complements the experience of the more seasoned owners on the board. They bring in like long-term industry knowledge, right? Some of them have been in the industry a really long time, and the lessons that they've learned over decades, whether it's manufacturer, distributor, contractor, right? It's all kind of facets of the industry. And I think I bring the insight into what it takes to start and adapt and grow in what this post-COVID environment is like. And I think together it blends and helps ECA stay kind of grounded, I think, in what's always mattered, what's important to our industry, how we can grow the industry ethically and keep our morals and integrity, while also evolving to support contractors who are trying to build and scale their businesses right. Because that's really what the Trailblazer group is. You know, we're not young in age, but we're young. Most of us are young in our ownership. And so to be able to hold that seat and on the ECA advisory board is kind of bringing that up and melding everyone together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Keely, I'd love to shoot this next question to you first. From your kind of experiences in ECA, what unique perspectives do women bring to the advisory board, industry leadership at large?
Yeah, I think there's two different elements, and one has to do with being a woman and one does not. Again, it's experience, it's uniqueness, it's a different way potentially to communicate. You know, the way that as women leaders in a male populated industry, we do think differently, right? We're thinking all the time, how do we show up? What does that look like? How are we taken seriously? But at the same time, within ECA, I will say from day one, I don't even think about the fact if I'm a man or a woman at any table. And it's never been like that for me, ever. And I came from outside of the industry, also still in construction, but not specific to roofing. And so coming into a room where race doesn't matter, age doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter, it's just very eye-opening and welcoming. And it's very different from some of the stereotypes or the stigmas that are applied to our industry overall, right? Like the flashy or the ego boosting, you know, the more the guys, any of that. You don't get that when you are in a room with ECA members. So I would say that's very, very unique to our organization. And as the director, I am very tight with who we let in and who we don't, only because it's not that there's no shortage of amazing high driving revenue companies here throughout our country, but it's really, really important to keep that culture the way it is. So that level of welcoming is really key. One of the tenets of our culture is a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's one of the biggest reasons we started the Trailblazers as an example. So our usual barrier to entry, right, above and beyond, take culture aside, take the driving want to share and learn from each other. You had to be in business 5 years. You had to be at $12+ million. That was kind of like the scratching of the tip of the iceberg just to even be considered. But as Lee mentioned, things are changing so rapidly that we as ECA, if we're going to be on the forefront of those changes, then we have to move really quickly to also adapt. And so I think that is where both Lee and Jules is going to bring both a new, fresh perspective, not just as women leaders, again, in the different ways we potentially communicate or the different ways we think about things. Might be relationships within a business structure and how things are organized. You know, how we present to a group. I mean, you know, those are dynamic changes, but I think they're good changes. And you know, overall, having Lee sitting from the Trailblazer perspective, Jules from a very integrated role throughout her company. I mean, again, I know I said it when they were both inducted, but this woman could run this entire company with her eyes shut. It's less about titles. It's less about gender. It's about experience. It's about insights. And it's about the connection that both of these women have, both inside ECA and throughout our industry, that I think are obviously like key reasons that they deserve and obviously are sitting on the board as a result of it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more again. Oh my gosh. So I would love to ask you, Jules, what do you kind of hope your impact is on this board? And what kind of change do you hope to bring about?
Yeah. I would say, you know, in my opinion, advisory boards should encompass, you know, a little bit of the entirety of the group. So one strong move that I think ECA has made is inviting Lee, a Trailblazer, into the group, because, you know, similar to what Keely said and similar to what Lee has been saying, her perspective in running a post-COVID business is totally different than what ours is, right?
Right.
And so I think when it comes to that, what I add to that board for sure would be I am heavy on the finance and operations side of things. And so I very critically think of that. And, here at work, they call me the numbers witch, which is hilarious because I'll dive into a spreadsheet, and just, I love to problem solve. And, but I think also, something that I focus on is I'm so forward facing, I'm so forward looking, like, hey, what does next year look like? What do we want this industry to be like in 5 years? What is, I question, what's the current, is that just, do we do things that way because it's the way we've always done it? Or do we do things that way because it makes sense and it's efficient and it's what the industry needs? So I think when you combine, people like Lee and people like me who, and the other members of the board who have some tenure in the industry, I think you get a more balanced sounding board as a whole. And I think that's exactly what ECA needs and has had in the past, but I think it just gets more dynamic with I'm really shouting Lee out. I really think it gets more dynamic with Lee as a trailblazer on it.
That's amazing. And you both are a part of the Barb's program. Could you kind of tell us about that? What is that, and what do you guys do?
Yeah, I'll start, and then I'll let Lee add her spice to it. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say what the acronym means. However, Barb's really started as a community within ECA of women. Kind of organically, I would say that, we congregated to each other because, let's be honest, this room is full of very powerful people, including us women. And so we sort of flocked together, right? And we started realizing that even if it wasn't in the ECA room, those men in that room are very supportive of all of us. There are still some hills us women have to climb in a male predominant industry. And so to have each other's backs and really have this sisterhood of roofing ladies is just, it's honestly one of the most amazing things that ever came to fruition. I think it was at a bar at conference one day.
Amazing. Oh, I love it. Lee, could you tell us a little bit about your experience with this program?
Yeah, let me tell you, the initiation and the hazing was unreal. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's walking into the, Keely and Jewels said it perfectly. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. Walking into a room of ECA is different. It is, you just feel electric. You feel welcomed. You feel instantly a part of a community that wants to raise the bar in an industry that has somewhat of a black eye, right? Like, you're surrounded by like-minded people, and then the barbs happen. And full disclosure, I was like, these barbs are intimidating to me because they're so powerful and just exude confidence and poise and class. And then I became a barb and I was like, oh, okay, all right. So we just happen to do roofing too. And it's amazing. We lift each other up and we help each other. And it's not, yes, we talk about business often, but it is much more about a deeper friendship and understanding, and personal growth that I think is just amazing about the Barbs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Lee, I'd also like to ask you, what do you hope your impact is with taking on this milestone of joining the advisory board? What do you hope you get out of it, and also your lasting impact on the industry is from it?
I mean, that it's wild that you're even asking me that question. I don't think I've been a first of anything, and to be the first trailblazer, I just so happen to be a woman, which is super cool. But it's so weird that you're asking me about my impact, because I part of why I started Livello is because I wanted to build something bigger than myself. I wanted to help people. I wanted to, employ people to put food on their table. And so I think that it's been a mind shift, a mindset shift for me at the moment of like, what my impact can be on the industry. I feel like it makes the door feel, I think, a little bit wider. You know, Keely nailed it with the diversity, and doesn't matter your background or anything, but just the sheer diversity of talent that already exists in the industry, whether you're a woman or a man or a newer professional or a leader in with like a non-traditional background, it doesn't matter. And for me personally, I'd love to see more people see themselves like reflected in the leadership. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think if Jules and I being on the board and our diversity and what we can give to the board and give back to an industry, if it encourages even one more person to maybe raise their hand or get involved or think, hey, maybe there's a seat for me too, then I think that it matters, you know? And I think those small moments of confidence and visibility are what really start to make a difference and make a change. And I think that's kind of the impact I want to have and what I care most about.
Yeah, I love that. Well said. Well said. And it truly is a milestone having you both on the advisory board and being able for other women, other trailblazers, other new people to industry, other general managers that want to get involved and also become a member of the advisory board one day. It's so important for them to see you. And so this is so exciting, and congratulations once again. Keely, I'd love to ask, if someone's listening to this and, you know, they say, wow, I need to be a part of this organization, how does one become an ECA member?
That is a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. So we do have a website. I think that's the best place to start. So it's just as you would think, www. And here comes the long one. It's exteriorcontractoralliance.com. So all spelled out. But it will bring you to our page, and it really kind of talks about who we seek, who we are as an organization, because at the end of the day, it has to be a mutual fit. You know, as a contractor or a supplier or a manufacturer or a service provider partner, there has to be a mutual benefit and a mutual vision, to be honest, or, you know, there's no longevity to that. And that's really what we look for, right? We're not looking for members or partners that are just a turn and burn. We're looking for true friendships, a true community that continues to build. So again, that's the great place to start. It kind of talks about us, where we've been, where we're going. We've got some testimonials. We've got some short, fun videos. You know, we work hard, we have fun, we give back. I know that's the SRS motto, but ECA lives by that as well, I think, and we do a good job at all three of those. So yeah, that's the best way to start. There is a form fill where you can reach out, and that comes directly to myself and my team. We'd be absolutely thrilled and happy to have those conversations. Something that we actually pride ourselves on is before we bring on anyone, and it could be someone like a Jules or a Lee, and the first time we meet them, we're like, oh, yes, you know, internally we're doing this happy dance, and we're like, how do we get them in? They're a perfect fit. They're gonna bring so much and provide so much to our group, and vice versa. You know, we don't want to sell them as the management team. We want our incoming members to talk to other members. And so we actually set them up. It's almost like speed dating, but we set them up with other current members and ask them to just chat openly and honestly about their experiences, what they're looking to achieve by joining the community. At the end of the day, it's a very low entry fee. It's the stickiness is the people, right? It's the people, it's the transparency, it's this drive within each of us to want to grow both personally and professionally, obviously refining and driving that business growth as well. So it's one of those things, like, it seems like you're sipping on the Kool-Aid from the outside, and then you enter the room and you're like, oh,
I get the Kool-Aid.
I get the Kool-Aid. And I think Lee, her first conference that she came to, said the same thing. We had a couple of others. They're like, I don't know. Like, this just seems way too good to be true. I'm like, look, we're quirky too. Don't get us wrong. But yeah, it's just this welcoming environment. We go by this kind of like headline, if you will, of belong ship. And it's without a community, you're simply a commodity. And I think that's absolutely true and continues to be true post-COVID. There's been so many changes in our environment and continue to be, the challenges aren't getting any easier. And again, how do we swim together as a school of fish versus swimming alone in an ocean?
I love that. I love that. Without community, you're just a commodity. Ooh. That's so good. That's so good. Well, it just is palpable, the impact that it seems ECA has not only on Lee and Jules here, but just the community at large. So thank you for everything you guys are doing. And Jules and Lee, congratulations. I swear this is the last time I'll say it, but congrats again on joining the advisory board. Any last words from Jules, you or Lee, on just why people should become a member, how it feels to be on the advisory board, what you're looking forward to in 2026? Jules, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I would say just in general, ECA, if I had to sum it up in maybe one sentence, I would say ECA really is a group of people who are trying to raise the bar in the industry to the level it always should have been, right? And these are your top contractors trying to rise the boat with the tide, right? So that's what ECA is. As far as something I'm looking forward to that I didn't mention, our little Barb's group has a retreat, and so this year will be our second annual Barb's retreat.
So fun.
And so we're all getting together this year in South Carolina. And so I am really excited to go spend some days with those girls and get out of the numbers.
Yeah, that is so exciting. Congrats. And Lee, last words here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jules said it best, that ECA is just an amazing group of contractors who truly love what we do and want to keep the integrity and ethics at a very, very high bar in the industry. And I too am looking forward to our Barb's retreat. Yeah, it couldn't come soon enough. I saw most of everybody at IRE, and I miss them already. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's amazing. Well, thank you all three of you, for chatting with me today and sharing your stories and wisdom. And thank you, Keely and ECA, for everything you do for the industry, and for being a great partner to Roofers Coffee Shop. And just congratulations on having 2 amazing new advisory board members. And I hope that this year goes great and that you enjoy being on the board, and all of the well wishes to all of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Megan. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Everyone can go to the ECA directory on rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. And actually, you go to the Lavello construction directory on rooferscoffeeshop.com as well, because they are an R Club member, and Allcraft Exteriors, I believe you're an R Club member as well. So you can go to the Allcraft Exteriors directory on rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more about Jules's company as well. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next Roofing Road Trip. If you've enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on every roofing adventure. Make sure to visit rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next Roofing Road Trip.